Hey, second grade AGA, thanks for reading with me today. This week we're going to be talking about money. Yeah, we just got done talking about money in math, but this week we're going to talk about it in reading. Maybe you'll understand a little bit more about it when we're done. So when we look at this picture here, we see that we use money in a lot of different ways. So we can use money to purchase goods or things like, things you bring home, or a service. A service is something that you would pay for, but you don't really get anything in your hands. So if you look at this little girl, she's going to use her money to purchase a book, which is a good. So some other types of goods would be food, clothes, toys, and some services would be like when you get a haircut. You don't really bring anything home, but you have to pay for the haircut. When you go to the movie, you don't really bring anything home, but you have to pay to go to the movie. Another would be if your parents go out and they go to the movie and they have to pay a babysitter to watch you while they are gone. So they would be paying for a service of someone to watch you. So can you guys think of any other ways that you can use money? Let's find out.
Money matters. How do we use money? We use money in many ways. Sometimes we use money to buy things we want or need. With her parents, Anna uses money she earned to buy a toy bear at her neighbor's yard sale. Things that we buy are called goods. We can buy many of the goods we need at the grocery store or supermarket. We can also use money to pay for things we want to do that are just for fun, like a day with your family playing at a water park.
So this week, our story is another expository text. And remember the characteristics of an expository text. They give facts and information about a topic, can explain how something works, and it can include text features. So this is the title of our story, Money Madness. What do you think we might learn about money? Let's find out if we can learn something new this week.
Genre: Expository Text. Money Madness by David A. Adler. Illustrated by Edward Miller. Essential question: how do we use money? Read about how money works. What's all this money madness? People talk about money and work for it. They seem to always want more of it. Take a look at a dollar bill. There's a nice portrait of George Washington on it, but it's just paper.
Is money really just paper? Let's find out.
Why do people want money? People want money because it can be used to buy things. Now imagine a world without money. If you were hungry and there was no such thing as money, how would you buy a loaf of bread? You would have to bake your own. Without money, how would you get the ingredients for the bread? If no one would give or sell you flour, you would have to grow wheat, harvest it, grind it, and sift it before you would have flour for your bread. If there was no such thing as money and you needed new clothes, you would have to make them. Imagine if you had to knit your own sweater. Imagine if you had to raise a sheep and shear it, spin the wool to make yarn, and then knit the sweater yourself.
Think about what people would have to do if we didn't have money. It would be really difficult to get the things we needed or wanted without money.
There was a time before money. Long ago, people couldn't buy things. When they were hungry, they gathered berries and killed animals. When they were cold, they gathered wood for their fires. Before there was money, people gathered and hunted for what they needed. They were self-sufficient.
So there was a time without money. It was a very long time ago. What that means when it says long ago, time before, that means it was something that happened in the past.
Some people liked to hunt. They were good at it. Others were good at making clubs or clothing. Soon people traded one thing for another. A hunter traded with a food gatherer. A club maker traded with a clothing maker. A system of trading one thing for another is called bartering. Maybe you barter. Have you ever traded one toy for another? At lunch, have you ever traded an apple for an orange? That's bartering.
So the main idea and detail we have read so far is about bartering. Bartering for things. So people trade one thing for another. I'm sure you've tried this at least once.
However, there are times when bartering doesn't work. A hunter could trade an animal for berries, but how many berries? And what if the hunter didn't want berries? How would a baker trade for a house? How many loaves of bread would he have to trade? And why would anyone want so much bread? Long before a person could eat all that bread, most of it would be stale.
Think about what we read so far. What's the problem? If you said without money people can't buy the things they need or want, you're correct. What's the first step that people took to solve this problem? If you said they bartered, you're correct. But not all things could be bartered. Would you trade your bike for some bread? Let's keep reading.
A hunter who didn't want berries might be willing to trade for them anyway if he knew he could then trade the berries for something he did want. A homeowner might be willing to trade her house for bread if she knew she could then trade the bread for something she did want. In those trades, the berries and bread would be a kind of money. At one time, cows, sheep, camels, rocks, feathers, salt, dried fish, fish hooks, animal skins, and strings of beads made from clamshells were all used as money. People valued cows, sheep, and camels, and they could always trade one of those animals for something they wanted. But what if something was worth just half a cow? You wouldn't want to cut a cow in half to buy something. What if the sheep or camel you wanted to trade was sickly? You might have trouble trading it. When animals were used as money, your money needed to be fed. Your money could die. It could run away. Rocks were another early form of money. Rocks come in different sizes, but they're heavy to carry around. Feathers were used as money too. Feathers are light, but they can blow away. What was needed was something that wouldn't get sick, didn't have to be fed, wasn't too heavy or light, came in different weights or sizes, and most people wanted.
Remember, the problem is that people can't get the things they need without money. What was another step that people took to try to solve this problem? Let's stop and check. Maybe it will help us.
Stop and check. Summarize. Summarize the early forms of money that you have read about.
Well, based on what we've read so far, if you said people use things such as animals and natural objects like berries, rocks, and feathers, you are correct. This would be another step to solve the problem. But all of those ways are difficult to trade. It was hard to find a value or worth. Visualize yourself walking around with rocks or berries in your pockets. Could you buy a cone of ice with rocks or berries? Probably not.
Hundreds of years ago, people found that metals made good money. People valued bronze and copper, which could be cut into small pieces just right for carrying around. To know how much each piece was worth, people just had to weigh it. The heavier the piece of metal, the more it was worth. These pieces became the first coins. Then coins were made from silver and gold. People wanted silver and gold, so they were happy to trade for silver and gold coins. But carrying many coins is difficult, so paper money was invented.
So, another step to solve the problem of needing money were the coins, but they were too heavy to carry around.
The first paper money was like a printed promise, a promise that the money could be taken to a bank and traded for silver and gold coins. In the United States, people no longer use silver and gold coins as money. But paper money still has value because you can use it to buy things. You can use paper money to buy bread, furniture, and clothing. You can use it to buy a house. You can even use paper money to buy silver and gold. Each country has its own money. In the United States, people use dollars. In Mexico, people use pesos. In Israel, new shekels. In Russia, rubles. In China, yuan. In Canada, dollars. In South Africa, rand. And in Brazil, reais. People in many of the countries in Europe use euros. The value of money in each country keeps changing. One US dollar may be worth 10 Mexican pesos one day and a little more or less the next day. Your dollar may be worth 7 Chinese yuan one day and slightly more or less the next day. The value of each country's money goes up when prices go down in that country. When that happens, the dollar buys more. The value of each country's money goes down when prices go up in that country. When prices go up, the same dollar buys less.
The pictograph shows you how the worth or value of paper money changes every day. Sometimes this is difficult to understand. You might have to go back and reread. Let me help you. When prices go down, the value of the money goes up. When the prices go up, the value of the money goes down.
When prices go down, the value of a dollar goes up. For example, when a scoop of ice cream costs $1, each dollar buys one scoop. If prices go down and a scoop of ice cream now costs just 50 cents, a dollar buys double what it bought before. Now a dollar buys 2 scoops of ice cream. The value of a dollar in relation to ice cream went up. As prices in a country go down, not just for ice cream, but for many, even most things, the value of its currency goes up.
So to summarize all of this, when prices go down or lower, a dollar can buy more. When prices go up or get higher, a dollar buys less.
Checks and credit cards are money too, because they can be used to buy things. Some people even use digital money. With digital money, there is a computer record of the money in an account. When you spend that money to buy a book or download music, the amount you spend is subtracted from your account. Even though you cannot see digital money, it's still money because it can be used to buy things.
All of this seems a little hard to understand. Let's stop and check to see if it helps.
Stop and check. Summarize. How does digital money work? Summarize what you have read.
So based on what we've read on this page, money's kept in an account on a computer. And when you spend money, it gets taken it gets taken out of the account.
We no longer live in a world with just hunters and food gatherers. We live in a world with dancers, teachers, doctors, astronauts, dentists, and bakers. Without money, it's hard to imagine what a dancer would trade to buy a car. Without money, it's hard to imagine what a teacher would trade to buy a sweater. It's hard to imagine a world without money. Now reach into your pockets. Do you have any coins? Do you have any paper money? If you do, you're probably pleased. You know, with money, you can buy things you want. With money, you can buy things you need.
Do you have any coins in your pocket? Do you have a piggy bank full of coins? Are you saving it to buy something great? What was our problem? Without money, people cannot get or buy the things they need or want. That's right. Some of the steps that they took were: one, people bartered or traded, but some things just couldn't be bartered. Another step, they tried many different things as money, but those things were really hard to use. And the last step that they tried, people used metal coins, but they were really heavy to carry around. So the solution that they came up with was that people use paper money, checks, credit, or bank cards, and digital money to buy things. I hope you learned something new today. Until next time, this is Mrs. D signing off. Toodles!